The state can make policy. So what His Excellency, the Governor of Lagos State, has done is still within his purview, because it's a concurrent matter in the Constitution, and it's for the safety of lives and property within the state, is within the jurisdiction of His Excellency. But again, when it comes to enforcement now, the Act of the Corps compels us to enforce all traffic laws and regulation made by various states of the Federation pursuant to the FRS Establishment Act 2007. So with that, with the restriction of trucks, trailers from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m., we look at how it's going to be enforced, and I think His Excellency has directed us to join other law enforcement agencies to do the enforcement. I think we comply. But I think it excludes the tankers from the information I receive, because it excludes the tankers because of the petroleum product. I was made to understand that the directive excludes tankers, so that is only the other categories of vehicles, the trucks, trailers, and the flatbed tankers, the containers, that are really bad by this directive. But I think we see how this can be done, and I've already directed the sector commander in Lagos to comply with the Excellency Directive while we look at the implications and the modifications thereon.
Is this the solution to preventable accidents and deaths, such as the one that we saw in Ojuelegba area, where the tanker fell and killed people?
Not only the body, both the container and the truck itself, the head both fell. And I think what we have to do is this. Remember, over the last 4 or 5 months, we've been talking about this. We are battling with age-articulated vehicles in the country. We raised this issue. We had the stakeholder summit on the 15th of June. Look at the metamorphosis when this problem started. The problem started on the last day of May, when we had the first crash at Onitsha, in which 46 people died. The brake of the tanker failed and crushed 46 people with explosion. Then within 1 week, we had 16 crashes involving trailers, tankers, and trucks. At the end of the day, we recorded 56 lives. Then we had the meeting with PTD Nopeng. Then we had the national summit. And again, we've been engaging them in various series of discussions. It was then that we realized that 95% of all these articulated vehicles are over 30 years. They are aged. You need to go to the ports authority, where they are loading, to actually see the state of most of these vehicles. They are aged, they're over 30 years. So it's a big problem we have in our hand. You're asking a question about Ojuelegba issue. One, because of the age of these flatbed trucks, over 30 years, what we need to do to all the bridges, like was done on the one for Bank Anthony, is to put a restriction that all these articulated vehicles should not be climbing the bridges again. That's not the first time. We've had about 3 or 4 incidences of falling containers on the bridge. One is that the driver himself does not know the contents of the goods he's carrying. You know, they just put the container on the flatbed, bolt it or latch it or secure it one way or the other, and they just give the driver the way be. Does not even know what contains, whether it's an inflammable product, whether they are destructive materials, it doesn't know. So the weight is carrying to himself again. He does not know the contents and the quantity that will guide his sense of belonging and sense of direction. So that is one issue. So if it's a good in the process of loading from the ship to the truck, it's possible that the weights, the goods could have been moved to one side. And when it comes to curves and maneuvering, the weight can shift to one side, which, from what I've seen from the accident investigation report going on, that was what was responsible. But the solution is to put barriers. To me, the first primary solution is all the bridges in Lagos, from the port axis, let there be barriers. If there are barriers like was done to the Bank Anthony at Ikeja, that means you've eliminated that kind of problem. And once that one is done, I think we'll continue to make progress.
Tell us more about Operation Scorpion. I believe it is to do with road safety and safety of lives on the roads. What is it all about? It's
a collective responsibility of the stakeholders. We've had series of meetings with PTD Nopeng, with all the stakeholders, the summit on the 15th of June. We've had meeting in Sokoto with the PTD executive. Then we've had with NURTW, we've had in NAPTO. And the last one at Sheraton Hotel, the consensus was that road safety commence enforcement. And we all resolved with effect on 1st of September. We commenced enforcement on all the resolutions we agreed on. That was what led to Operation Scorpion. And it's not limited to Lagos. That was why I said when we started, it's not just a one-week operation. It's a continuous operation nationwide.
Could you articulate some of those resolutions?
Of course. It's a 4-page plan of action on the 15th of June. And the last one in Sheraton was that FRSA should commence the enforcement. Because now we have deployed 169 officers to the various tank farms and depots, excluding those of major marketers. Because I must commend the major marketers. The minimum safety standard is impressive, and with our engagement with them, they are raising the level of the minimum safety standard again. And I'm satisfied. I can see the commitment and seriousness of the major marketers towards ensuring safety. So I don't need to deploy personnel there. So I've deployed 169 personnel to about 50 tank farms nationwide, including Calabar, One, Sapele, Warri, and Lagos. Lagos has the majority, over 40 tank farms.
What will they be doing?
Compliance with the minimum safety standards. That is it. We have one major problem. Only major marketers has complied with it. That is what we call the safety valve of the tankers. The question is this: why do tankers, when they fall, why do they spill fuel? The issue is that there's what we call safety valve on top of the tankers. Per each hole, they call it manhole in their own local parlance. They call it manhole. If you have the safety valve, okay, let me give you an example. It's like a bottled water, okay? A bottled water, you put it on the table. If the cork is there, if the cork is fastened, if it falls down, you know the water will not spill. But if the cover is not there, what happens? It spills. So that gives you, that's the best explanation for the safety valve. If the safety valve is fitted on these tankers and the tanker falls, it will not spill. You only need to transload, then use a crane to lift it up. But because it's one of the critical issues we're engaging PTD Nupeng with now, and on the issue of the speed limiting device, there's no going back. Even though they're asking for extension, I'm waiting for a higher directive on that. Let's leave that. On Operation Scorpion, the minimum safety standard we're talking about is the issue of the license of the driver, the issue of the vehicle itself, retroreflective tapes, the tire, the condition of the vehicle. That is the minimum safety standards. And there's no going back.
You have a major challenge, I hope you know that, because the Nigerian market's actually filled with substandard tires. How would you approach this?
That is the issue. And you see, tires are like drugs. They have lifespan. 3 years or 80,000 kilometers, whichever comes first. So we check the tires, we check the manufacture date. It's a 4-digit code on the tires. So if you observe, since we started till date in the last 6 weeks, you could have seen that there's no complaint from any of the unions, from any of the critical stakeholders, because of the engagement over a period with them. And there's no stopping. It's part of what we are doing for the end of the year, Operations the Ember months. This exercise is nationwide now at critical locations. So we need to sustain this, and it behoves on the Federal Road Safety Court to ensure safety of lives and property. And if you observe most of the recent crashes is between 12 midnight and 5 a.m. And those are just the tankers and the trailers. We are looking at start commencing 24-hour operation gradually. But that is why when we are strengthening, we have the personnel. But a lot is expected from us in respect of this. That is why from the beginning when we started, you can see the issue of the road safety is multi-sectorial, multi-dimensional. And this is just one aspect we are talking about now, this issue of articulated vehicles. But the fundamental is that we are battling with aged vehicles. 95%, only the multinationals and major marketers can afford one. It costs about 30 million to procure a tanker or a trailer. The head alone is about 21 million, and the body is about 7-8 million. By the time you register an insurance, that's about 30 million. But how many can afford this? That is where the infrastructure bank or Bank of Industry comes in. There's need for high-level government intervention to provide funds for them, because the directive we've given to the personnel now, we start impounding all these aged vehicles. They can't move again. It's causing a lot of, even apart from threats to other lives, the frequent breakdowns on the road. And at night without displaying appropriate warning signs makes an innocent driver going underneath. We've lost so many lives like this, and enough is enough on this. We must be seen to be responsive in this country, to do what is expected of us, and the charge, it behoves on us to do the right thing and enforce it. It's very important. You look at what the Corps is doing is to ensure the safety of lives and property, prompt rescue for road traffic crash victims, increase the level of awareness. The president expects a lot from us. One, to raise the level of our enforcement, to ensure Nigerians comply with the road traffic rules and regulations. Remember his pronouncement before he came in. Before he came in, that his aides and himself will obey traffic laws. And he has displayed this transparency. We must commend him. And another thing is that he expects everybody, including top government officials, to comply. We have been working on this. That is the first thing. The second one is that road safety management, the level must be improved upon. Nigeria is doing well at the continental level for now, but we still need to do more. The government is funding the Corps, but we still need more funds to, at least the aged vehicles needs to be replaced. You must give it to the government of Federal Republic of Nigeria for the past 27 years, being the lead agency in Nigeria and the best leading example of road safety in Africa, for the funding they have been giving to the organization for the past 20. It's a model which other African countries are trying to emulate now. It's a big thing. So the government is trying, but we need more support. Mr. President has a kind of passion for safety, and I think he's on course. What we do normally for the end-of-year patrol operations is what we call realignment. We move some of the vehicles, personnel from less critical corridors to the busy corridors which we are talking about. So, and it's a dynamic thing that we are more mobile. Areas that we see that are prone to crashes, we move the personnel there for traffic calming, traffic control, rescue services, raising the level of awareness. And with that, I believe we are going to do better this year.
Corps Marshal Boboyi Oyeyemi, I want to thank you so much indeed for spending your time and your thoughts on State of the Nation.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And that wraps it up. Thank you so much for staying with us. I am Gimba Umar, and this is State of the Nation. See you next time.